Hello, I'm going to show you how to make some macrame knotted bracelets like this. And there's a couple things that you'll need in order to get started. A clipboard, thick and thin threads, some clippies, and some endings. The endings you can choose from are a button or end crimps and a clasp. I think you'll find this technique very easy and fun to do. You'll be surprised how easy it is, and I'll see you at the end of this video, so have fun. We are going to be using 3 threads in this macrame Bodhi bracelet. The first thread is a thin thread. This will be going into the beads. Then a thicker thread, and this will be knotting around the beads. And this right here is a piece of fishing line, and I'm going to be using this as a needle to pull my thread into the beads. So let me show you how to do that. First, I'll take this fishing line and I'll straddle that into the center of my thin thread. Like so. And make sure this is centered. Perfect. At the end of this thread, I'm going to take my clippy, my pinchy, and I'm going to do this. So as I string my beads, nothing will fall off. Pull it on and continue till you have all the beads on this thread. One of the difficulties with making this macrame bracelet is that you can't get many threads into these bead holes without drilling them or using a really skinny thread. So what's nice is we're combining 2 different threads in this project so that you can get exactly the look that you want with very little effort. Now I've strung enough beads to get on my wrist. And that's a lot more of these than you'll need. These beautiful black tourmalines will be separated by knots in between. And so that's going to make this bracelet a lot longer. But because I don't know how many knots you'll be using or what size beads, I'm not going to tell you how many beads to use on your first project. But once you make one, you'll definitely find out what's appropriate. I'm going to match up the end of this thread with the end of my thicker cord, like so. And I'm going to take my handy fishing line one more time, and I'm going to half hitch this through my button. I will be showing you how to use an alternative ending called an end crimp, but for this one I'll be using a button. So I'll take this, and a half hitch is the same knot you would use to put a luggage tag on your luggage, which is to pull the cords through. You can simply pull the button through this loop. And here you go. Everything is now attached. I've gotten this clipboard and I'm going to pinch this. Now the other end, and I'm going to take this clip and pin this just like this so that this stays tight as I'm working, okay? Alrighty. Now I'll take my 2 threads and I'll split them on either side of my tourmaline centered, and I'm going to start the knot. To do my first knot, I'm going to think of the letter P. P for project. My first knot is a P. So I'll make this thread look like a P. Do you see that? Then I'll bring this thread on top, underneath the green thread, and through the loop. And I'll pull. And don't worry, I'll be doing this many more times. So that was my first knot. My second knot will look like the number 4. You see that? Take this thread, goes on top, underneath and through the loop, and pull tight. And I'll alternate, and I'll make a P. Take the thread, goes on top, and then underneath, both threads, and through the loop. And I'll make a number 4. This goes on top, underneath, and make a loop. Okay, now I like the look of 4 knots for this project. 2 is good. 4, okay, it's up to you. And I'm going to push up my tourmaline. And I'm going to start again with P. Go underneath and pull tight. And pull this tight as well and close. And now a 4. And you can see I keep alternating between the P's and the 4s. And pull tight. Just make sure that this knot is tight against the previous knot, because that'll keep the sides nice and close up to your bead. Okay. P. And a 4. Then start with the next bead. And I'll keep repeating this until it fits my wrist. And keep going, and I'll be back with you in just a second. So I'm on my last knot. So I'll unclip my project. I'm going to bring it around my wrist to make sure it fits. Perfect. At this point, I can slide off my extra beads. I have all of my 4 cords together. I'm going to do an overhand knot. Okay. And what you want to do is pull each of these one by one to tighten this knot. You can do that one more time because I like it very safe and secure. Okay, this thread here we're going to be terminating, and this thread will be making a knot here, and that will make the loop for the button. Let me show you what that's going to look like. Actually, I have one right on my wrist. So there's the loop with the button, and again here's a loop and the button. Okay, so take this, and if you want to come through 2 times you can. That makes a little bit of a thicker knot at the end. I'm going to make sure my button fits through that loop. Okay, if you want a little bit smaller, just undo it and move it a little closer. Okay. Perfect. Okay, now this is what I would advise. To finish this end, I would take some hypo tube cement, dab it all over the knot, wait for it to completely dry, and then cut this end right here. For these threads, because it's nylon and you can burn it, I will take the thread zapper and I would go ahead and cut these and tap it down to end. So I'll take care of that and I'll be right back to show you what it's going to look like. So after the glue dried, you can go ahead and cut this end off, and it was lucky because this cord that I'm using was fusible, so the threads, instead of fraying on the ends, I just took my thread zapper and I touched the ends down like this and it burned it nice and clean. And so here's my finished bracelet. Ta-da! Now let me show you how to use the end crimps. To use an end crimp, again, I took my fishing line, strung it through the center of my skinny cord, and I strung on all my beads. Don't forget to put your pinchy at the end so your beads don't come off. Okay, and this time I'm going to add my thicker cord, which is a piece of leather. So that both of my threads are straddled through. And then I will use that to go into my end crimp. Pull this through. Okay. To finish this end crimp, you would take your chain nose pliers and squeeze this. But I'm not going to squeeze it yet. What I'm going to do is take out the fishing line and I'm going to put this right here. The reason I'm not going to squeeze this crimp just yet is it gives us time to be able to adjust this after the bracelet is done. In case you want it a little shorter, or in case your knot here wasn't too tight, we can always move that down, and we're going to be pinching that to end later. So I'm going to push that up here. Just so you know what I'm doing, I'm clipping my tail ends of my skinny cord to the bottom. Okay. And again, I'm going to start with my P for project. Bring my thread over, and this time I am knotting with leather, so it is going to be a little bit thicker. So I think this time, instead of doing 4 knots, I am going to do 2. So let's see what happens with that. Here it comes over. And because it is leather, you don't want to pull as hard as you did with the nylon cordings. Ooh, that's nice. I like it with 2 knots in between. And remember, after you put on the bead, if you can't remember what not to do, the P or the 4, just remember you're making a project, so always start with the P knot first. I finished my last knot, so I will undo this. And I will try it on my wrist to see if it fits. It's good, it almost touches. Which will be perfect once I add a clasp on. So on this side, I will take my chain nose plier and I will squeeze this gently. And I'll turn it around and squeeze it from this side. So the trick with these end crimps is you don't want to come down and squeeze it flat all at once. The metal does not like that. It wants to be pushed a little at a time till the whole thing is really flat. And I'll take my cutter and cut off the excess cords, and then on the other side take off my pinching, take off the extra beads, and I will string on this end crimp. Very nice. Another option, if you wanted to, is you could do 1 overhand knot before you slide on the end crimp, but I decided not to because I liked it a little less bulky and going more seamlessly into the end crimp. So I'll take that and I'll squeeze it. Yep, and squeeze it and scoop and keep pushing it till it's flat. Cut off my extra cords. And now I'll attach my clasp. So I'll take my flat nose pliers and my chain. I'll open the crimp and I'll open the jump ring and I'll attach it on. Not sure, can you see? Hold it this way so you can see. Then I'll open up the other jump ring, put it on, and close it. Now I have my bracelet. So I'll put the clasp on so you can see what it looks like. Aha, it's beautiful. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed making the Bodhi bracelet. I hope it was simple for you and fun. And as always, we invite you to come into the store if you have any questions, anything we can help you with. We're always happy to be there for you, and we'll see you again. Aloha.